King Tutankhamun's tomb. Discovered by Howard Carter in 1922, Tutankhamun's tomb is one of the most significant archaeological finds. The tomb was nearly intact and contained thousands of artifacts, providing invaluable insights into ancient Egyptian life and burial practices. Mummy's curse. Myth. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb also sparked the myth of the mummy's curse. Several people associated with the excavation died under mysterious circumstances, leading to sensationalized stories of a curse. However, scientific evidence does not support the existence of such a curse. Ötzi the Iceman. Discovered in the Alps in 1991, Ötzi is a naturally mummified body dating back to around 3300 BCE. His well-preserved state has provided a wealth of information about prehistoric European life, including diet, clothing, and medical practices. Bog bodies. In Northern Europe, bodies preserved in peat bogs are known as bog bodies. These natural mummies are incredibly well preserved due to the acidic, low-oxygen environment of the bogs, which inhibits decay and maintains skin and internal organs. Origins in ancient Egypt. Mummification began in Egypt around 2600 BCE during the 4th and 5th dynasties. Initially, it was reserved for pharaohs and the elite, but eventually it became accessible to anyone who could afford it. The complex process of embalming. Embalming involved a detailed and time-consuming process. It could take up to 70 days to complete. The body was washed, and internal organs were removed and preserved separately, except for the heart, which was believed to be the seat of the soul and intellect. Brain removal. Through the nose. The brain was considered unimportant and was removed through the nostrils using a long hooked instrument. This process, known as excerebration, was delicate and required significant skill. Use of natron. Natron, a naturally occurring salt mixture, was crucial in the mummification process. It was used to dehydrate the body, which involved packing the body and the empty cavities with natron for about 40 days. Intricate wrapping. After dehydration, the body was wrapped in multiple layers of linen. This wrapping process included the placement of protective amulets and charms between the layers, which were believed to provide magical protection in the afterlife. Incan mummies. The Inca civilization of South America also practiced mummification. They often placed mummies in seated positions and buried them with offerings. These mummies were sometimes brought out for ceremonies, indicating a continuing relationship with the deceased. The oldest mummies. The Chinchorro people of modern-day Chile and Peru practiced mummification as early as 5000 BCE, making their mummies the oldest known. Their techniques included disassembling and reassembling bodies, sometimes replacing skin with clay. Modern scientific studies. Today, scientists use non-invasive techniques like CT scans and MRI to study mummies. These methods allow researchers to see inside the mummies without damaging them, providing insights into their health, causes of death, and the mummification process. Belief in the afterlife. Ancient Egyptians believed that preserving the body was crucial for the soul's journey in the afterlife. They thought that the soul, known as the Ka, needed a physical body to inhabit in order to survive after death. Canopic jars. The removed internal organs were stored in special containers called canopic jars. Each jar was dedicated to a particular organ and protected by one of the 4 sons of Horus, who were thought to guard the organs in the afterlife. Valley of the Kings. Many of Egypt's most famous mummies, including those of pharaohs like Tutankhamun and Ramses II, were buried in the Valley of the Kings. This site contains over 60 tombs and chambers designed to safeguard the mummies and their treasures. Mumia as medicine. During the Middle Ages and Renaissance in Europe, ground-up mummy remains were used in medicines called mumia. It was believed to have curative properties, and this practice persisted for several centuries. Funeral rituals. The burial process was accompanied by numerous rituals, including the opening of the mouth ceremony, which was believed to restore the deceased's senses and abilities in the afterlife. This involved touching the mummy's mouth with a ceremonial tool to enable them to eat and speak. Animal mummies. Egyptians also mummified animals, such as cats, birds, crocodiles, and even bulls. These animal mummies were often offerings to gods, companions for the deceased, or sacred animals of particular deities. Christian influence on mummification. With the spread of Christianity in Egypt, mummification practices declined. Christians did not believe in the necessity of preserving the body for the afterlife, which led to the cessation of these elaborate burial practices.